But the concepts and the ideas and the learnings that we'll get out of this session, it can be applied to different kinds of technology investments that you already have, especially in the realm of enterprise social. Now, just to avoid confusion, yesterday I was walking around and people looking at me weird. I think they're confused that I'm someone else, so I'm not that guy. We share the same last name, but that's about it. I think after this presentation, hopefully my style is better. So here's what we're going to do in this presentation. The topic of this presentation is Lead the Enterprise Social Revolution. You know, I work and live here in DC. We've been in business in the last 10 years. And really, like Brendan said, we help organizations maximize their Microsoft-based technology investment. And I talk to a lot of CIOs, and almost always, when I'm talking about, so what's your strategy around deploying enterprise social technologies to better your organization? Oh, we don't want that. We don't want no picture of cat in our intranet. Right? It's not about pictures of cats. Nor where you ate, where you checked in. And there's a lot of mass confusion and misunderstanding. So that's one of the things that are clarified upfront as to what this thing is about and what the value is. But more importantly, just like anything else, with something new comes change. And you know how change is. People love change. Not. So how do you sustain that and maximize it for your business enterprise? And then lastly, I'll provide some resources and case studies and customer examples on how they're benefiting enterprise social technologies. And I'll show some demos as well. All right? Now, again, my name is Doug, for those just walked in. This session is being recorded. And as Brendan mentioned, I wrote the book Sharepoint for Project Management. And for being here, I'll give a copy to everyone. Would that be good for everyone? Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pass this around. Just write your name and email on a piece of paper. I'll send you a code where you can get a copy of the book. And also, everything I showed, you get a copy too, if you so wish. If you want to put money, feel free. All right. So I got to send my 2 kids to college, right? So let's talk about this revolution. Are you ready for this revolution? Now, some of you may be thinking, we don't care for that, docs. I mean, enterprise social is a passing fad. It's for them kids. Yes? Well, ready or not, guess what? It's here. The enterprise revolution is here, and it's been here in the last 6 years. What are the signs of this revolution? These are the 4 telltale signs of there's this revolution that's going on. Number 1, we're in the age of BYOD. And I'm not just talking about hardware. I mean, it's unfortunate BlackBerry is not doing good, but you walk into any organization today, you see a hodgepodge of stuff. And IT's grappling with that. When the iPad first came out, which group in the organization needed their iPad right away? Oh, you guys. IT, you got to make this work. It is what it is. That's how business is today. But what about situations where the sales team, they need to get their job done. They call IT, hey, can you build a system to do this, that, the other? IT is like, we've got backlog of stuff. We don't have time for you. Forget it. I'm just going to swipe my card. There's this thing called Salesforce.com. Y'all with me? Yes. BYOD? How do you deal with that? The second sign of that the revolution is here is just how fast things happen. I mean, who would have thunk Microsoft buying Nokia? BlackBerry was at its heyday 5 years ago. Remember a company called Netscape? Right? AOL buying Time Warner? That was just like yesterday. Things happen fast. Somebody putting out a YouTube video in July 2012 made $8 million of that video just on YouTube 6 months later. I'm not celebrating here. Now, things happen fast. But we also live in the age where we're told to do more with less. We have to deliver the same set of services and value to our people, to our customers, yet with less. How do you deal with it? I mean, I live in Washington, D.C. A lot of my customers are in the government sector, and one of the key initiatives we're helping them with is just to provide transparency and accountability, because you've got to show that they're spending taxpayers' money wisely. Do more with less. Last but not the least, we're in this age of social. Again, I feel and I know that there's a mass hysteria, but equally ironic, a mass confusion around what enterprise social is. So if you look back to how social evolved, let me kind of take you through an evolution, a historical walk on how this whole social came about. You see, when we think of social today, when we hear the word social, we think social equals social media. Now, there's some validity to that because that's where it kind of all started, you know? Your Facebook, your LinkedIn, your Twitter. Now, conceptually, the idea is brilliant. Because as humans, social did not explode like that because the technology is cool. It has a lot to do with our characteristics as human beings. We have an intrinsic drive to engage and connect. And boy, think about our personal lives today. Our main means of electronic communication, at least most of us, is not email. You want to find out what happened in the family vacation with your brother? You don't ask them on email. Just fire up Facebook. Look at the pictures. Like it. Everybody with me? I mean, the worst part is those high school friends you didn't remember you had are back in your life. We use email today for what? Getting alerts that we have to pay our bill. That's pretty much it. And that's the power of social. And you know, I don't have to explain that. And what we're talking about here, from a perspective of enterprise social, what if you can take all those characteristics and real-time collaboration and dynamic and communication, stick it in our work environment? Wouldn't that be powerful? I mean, when we talk about enterprise social, friends, that's what it is. This is the best definition I found around enterprise social. So if you can read this with me, I would be very appreciative. So 1, 2, 3. Enterprise social is an important collaboration for. Nothing here says about liking or newsfeed or tagging. Y'all with me? If a technology fulfills this purpose, heck, that's enterprise social. Okay, Dux, I kind of get it. I kind of understand what you're talking about. But can you give me a picture of what this looks like in an organization? Watch this video.
History has taught us that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. That working together, we are able to accomplish more than we could ever accomplish on our own. That when great minds come together, anything is possible. So we are reinventing the way people work together. We are making it easier than ever before to share ideas, discover connections, ask questions, find answers. Stay in sync. Organize information. And build a team that takes an idea and makes it a reality. Sharepoint.
So, if you look at that slice of an example, that's what enterprise social is. I mean, would all that be possible with email alone or our traditional means of communication and collaboration? Absolutely, but maybe not as fast, maybe not as dynamic. Everybody with me? I mean, there's this big disconnect today where in our personal lives, we know the value, again, of social. But then when you fast forward to the enterprise, there's still that resistance. There's still that misinformation. enterprise social brings a lot of value to organizations. First and foremost, better engagement. The fact that the gentleman had an idea, posted a picture on his phone, surfaced on their social stream, some other guy in another department was working on something. Oh, that's a good idea. The other benefit of enterprise social is to facilitate better team collaboration. I know this promise, this word has been around forever, but never has it been much more easier and much more effective than today with the tools that we have. The other value of enterprise social is, again, business agility. We can respond to the needs quicker, faster, better, and more rapid, where email can't provide us. Lastly, it provides a better means to connect our organizations internally, externally, not only among people, but among different systems and technology as well. Now, one of the big, I would say, reasons that people will tell me, well, Docs, you don't understand. You know, it's a generational thing. You should know, you work in DC, right? At first, I thought that was true. You know, I work with a lot of government customers, and introducing new technology is just a pain. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I like my Excel and email. Right? I thought that was true until a month ago. I was in DC working with a big customer, working with this individual, wonderful lady, and we're going through some change management activities. I said, Docs, you know, we just don't understand. We're not used to this. We don't need it. What we do works. Even what you have is better. All right, whatever. And once we're done, I thought, well, that's just the way of the world. There's this gal. As we walked out the door of that building, she whipped out her iPhone, downloaded a bunch of new apps, updated Facebook, started playing Candy Crushers. That's a lame excuse if you're saying it's a generational thing. How come in our personal lives we don't even think about this? We adapt new technologies because it's just easier, better to communicate, collaborate with our friends, family, and high school friends. But going to the enterprise? No. No change for me. Next. And that's the problem. In spite of the promise of this great technology, and it's nothing new. I mean, the last 10 years, there's a lot of innovations that came out, but we're still stuck in this email cycle. You know that the #1 killer app of the enterprise is still email? A 1973 frickin' technology? You want the latest iPhone 5S? You want the next iPad? We have GPS in our car. Heck, we have TiVo at home because we have to record the voice. But we use 1973 technology to run our business. Why, Docs? Why won't this fit? Why won't these technology work? Right? Because a lot of times, we look at technology and lead with technology. We roll out new platforms, new innovations, and say, oh, people need training. Okay, learn this new thing. Learn how to use Java. Learn how to use Java. Tibber, Yammer. For what? It's always focused on the technology where it's non-contextual, people don't know what it's about from a business perspective, and again, what's in it for me? The idea is, especially with these types of innovations, you have to think sustainability. And when we talk sustainability, the goal is threefold. If you want to drive sustainable adoption, first and foremost, you have to drive excitement. Now, let me ask you, when you saw that video, a little simple video, were you kind of at least a little bit excited for your organization? Wow. That's been here in the last 3 years. In past driving excitement, I mean, you don't just want to excite people, you got to make sure it has to facilitate positive change. It has to be better not only for the organization, it has to be better for that person. Lastly, you should provide a way that you can empower people and assist people towards their maturity of embracing these tools. The problem with organizations today, again, they throw out these technology, take training, have fun, see you in 5 years in our next upgrade. Y'all with me? Forget my heavy southern twang, y'all. I'm from deep south, Southeast Asia there, if you know. So these are the 3 goals. Now, how do we get to those 3 goals? Here are 5 steps I want to share on how you drive sustainable adoption. Very systematic, practical steps, but these are the steps that we've been using with customers and clients we engage with. And again, when you think about driving sustainability, you're in it for the long haul. It's not a one-hit wonder kind of thing. So first things first, just like any major strategic initiative, you have to secure executive buy-in. You know, a lot of times with these technology investments, while there may be buy-in, it's just formalities. Hey boss, we're going to upgrade, we're going to put this social thing. Okay, how much is that? Well, it's part of our agreement, we get it anyways. Okay, do it. Not going to work. When we talk about executive buy-in, it's in for the long haul, which means it has to tie in to what the business drivers, business initiatives, business goals are. And how you pitch this is really in these 3 core areas. Number 1, will it help us make money and save more money? Second, will this help expedite innovation, especially if you're a product company or innovation-driven company? Again, earlier in the video you saw that, just like this little windmill that drove their next product. And third, most important, will it facilitate better engagement internally and externally? And then you can tie it to this. I'll show you some examples in a second. You see, when we talk about social, it's about empowering bottom-up organization, people, groups, customers, so that from the top, they can make business goals much more successful. They have visibility into it, and it's going to be clear. Let me give you another example. So, since we're in this town, one of our customers is US EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. And the group we work with is the Office of Water, IT, and one of their key challenge is, for the longest time, just like any government organization, they relied on vendors to work on projects, which is typical. But the problem they have is you don't have a real-time way to have visibility into what's going on. I mean, they get status reports and updates, but it's not real time. So in certain cases, when they have to act on something or make a decision, guess what? It's too late. Don't you love it? Like every Tuesday, you sit down together with your managers doing, for example, looking at all the schedule, or even resources. Who's working on what? And then the report you're looking at was 3 days late. Right? So we helped put together a platform for them that served as a project management solution. However, using all these technologies, we have real-time visibility into what's going on. And at the project level, resources are able to use the devices that they use, the tools that they use, to put in relevant information. Very powerful. And 2 months after, they save $2 million because they're able to make decisions right away. And these are technologies that they already have. Now, another example I'll show you. Red Robin Burger. Here's a nice little video on how tools like this help them drive better customer service, which help them drive revenue growth.
At Red Robin, we're about burgers and fries. We're about giving great guest experiences and delivering on the promise that we give our guests. And that happens over 4 time zones in 44 states through 1,500 managers that are really coaching, developing 26,000 team members.
So about 3 years ago, what we realized is while the company has always been profitable and been successful, we were getting outpaced in growth by the competition. In this economy, it's not the big companies eating the small. It's the fast eating the slow.
Red Robin's been around about 45 years, and Steve Carley joined the company a little over 2 years ago. And one of the great things that Steve brought was a different set of eyes, and realizing that, hey, just because we've always done it this way doesn't mean it's the right way to do it.
Typically, corporations default to hiring a consultant. They do what management doesn't or isn't prepared to do, which is actually go ask their people what the problem is and what the solutions might be. But let's just save the $1 million and ask the people ourselves and listen.
When you take great care of your team members, you know they're going to take great care of your guests. That's why we chose Yammer, where we can support them and we can provide that additional support that we didn't have before for issues that we didn't even know that they were having.
We've had a culture that truly values team members and truly values their voice.
And Yammer's been a very important tool for us to give everybody a voice.
By working social, by using Yammer, we get one step closer to our guests, one step closer to the feedback that they're giving us, which allows us to react to it.
I think with Yammer, we're able to identify some successful items faster and roll those out faster. So I'm really able to work with my people to get that guest experience better, ultimately take care of our stockholders.
We deliver our promise with a server standing right here at the end of a table. So if you can talk to those people in a non-threatening way, it is extraordinary what you can learn and the engagement and excitement you can generate.
So again, when you want to drive sustainable adoption, the very first step you have is you have to make sure your decision makers, your executives understand the value that technologies like this can bring to organizations. And once you've done that, the second step is you have to go a level below them, which is your business stakeholders. You got to involve them in the early conversations as you invest in this type of platform. See, again, in a lot of typical technology-driven initiatives, IT does their thing, we're going to do an upgrade, we'll roll out the social thing, and then we're going to announce it to the company. Hey, company, check out this new thing. Go have fun. It doesn't work. Because the perspective and the thinking would be, what, you're giving me another tool? I'm so busy already, you're giving me yet another tool? Y'all with me? So involve them up front. Now, how do you involve them? As you engage with them up front, the idea is you identify solutions. Don't showcase features. You see, in a lot of technology-driven initiative, which fails, it's always, hey, look, we're going to upgrade to the latest Lotus Notes. Who's using Lotus Notes? Bless your heart.
That's Southern.
So on a side note, I moved to the United States in the mid-90s from the Philippines. I lived in Atlanta. And people started telling me, bless your heart. Hey, that's a good thing. People are so nice and really good. 2 days later, I found out it's an excuse to be mean. Bless his heart, that kid's ugly. It's okay, right? Anyway, see this little old lady walking around. Anyway, now, so the typical MO we do as technologists is we roll out a technology, and the way we promote it, the way we pitch it is, ooh, look at this nice new car, very expensive, high-end. Now, your business would love it for the first 10 minutes. Right? Wow, nice, shiny car. And then they'll realize, well, I don't know how to work this thing. I just learned how to ride a bike yesterday. So what I'm going to do, I don't have time for this. I'm just going to park this in the garage. And in the case of Sharepoint, I'm going to stick all the files in this fancy car, just park it in the garage, and I'm going to go to work with my bike called email and Excel. Y'all with me?
Yeah.
See, the problem is, today, people don't look at enterprise social tools as something that they need to get their work done. Case in point, when you go to work, what's the first software you open once your computer boots up?
Twitter, Google.
Outlook, email, or Outlook or email, right? Google, Gmail, what have you. And that email stays there all day long. It may be Excel. Without email or Excel or Word, you can't function. Y'all with me? But we don't think about social tools that way. For example, I go back to Sharepoint. The way people think of Sharepoint is like a file dumping ground. That's where files go to die. Right? And their only concern with Sharepoint is, I don't like how it looks, make it pretty. Everybody with me? You have people telling you, I don't like how Outlook looks, change how Outlook looks. I don't like how Excel looks. It's dumb, ducks. Of course it's dumb, because I use Excel and Outlook to get my work done. And that's the shit that people have to have with social tools. So how do you do that? How do you identify solutions? So in a lot of customers we work with, one of the first things we do is we do engineering sessions. We take a day in the life in a slice of a typical business scenario, activity, or use case, however you want to call it. So I've recorded a little demo. What if you could do better at collaborating when you're working on projects? Because today, people, when they work on projects, they still use email. Email is their number one project management tool. Right? You want to bend it. But what if you can elevate that, and it's still easy, and it's still useful, but much more efficient and powerful? So look at this example I've recorded.
Meet my colleague Alex. He and I are working on putting together a presentation for our boss. Thanks to SharePoint 2013, we're able to easily centralize and manage all related artifacts and communications for this project. On a typical day, Alex would start working from home using his Mac. He would check his email from a browser and start work from there. Looks like Alex is reviewing the task for the project, and he has some questions for me about the project. Just by using the browser, he's able to instant message me using technologies like Link. One of the key benefits of SharePoint 2013 is a deep integration with existing tools that we already use, like Microsoft Office, smartphones, and even web-based technologies. So even if I am out and about, I'm still not at the office yet, I can easily respond to Alex on my phone and update my task. The beauty with SharePoint 2013 is that I can continue working with Alex once I get to the office. You just assign me a task on the project site, and look at what happens. It automatically shows up on my task list in Microsoft Outlook. Isn't that cool, or what? Additionally, within Outlook, I can email the entire team directly using this neat feature called Site Mailbox. The Site Mailbox is available not only in Outlook, but it's the same Site Mailbox that the team can see and interact with directly on the project site. The Site Mailbox also provides visibility to all the documents I have in the project site. So what do you think? Are you excited? I am. This is the new way to work together with SharePoint 2013.
Now, when you talk solutions, well, certainly you talk about the technology that's going to enable these solutions. You have to come down and think about what the low-hanging fruits are. What are the common pain points people have? A lot of us, especially technologists, when we engage in these technology-driven initiatives, we focus on like the big things. Ooh, we got to hook up enterprise social with our SAP, CRM, Run DMC. And then we forget every day the people that are working, doing a lot of these activities that are manual, that are challenging, that are inefficient, can be helped right away without investing too much time or effort. So when you want to go after low-hanging fruits, address common pain points and identify quick wins. With enterprise social, it doesn't have to be like a big initiative. You can do a pilot for 1 month, 60 days. Pick a pilot group, the project managers, HR people, finance people. Improve the value there and then move on to the next group. And I encourage you, gang, to use tools that they're familiar with. Right? The way we introduce enterprise social is not go to SharePoint or go to Yammer. Hey, you know how we can make Excel better for you? Or how we can make Outlook better for you? Or how we can make your mobile experience better? Baby steps. Y'all with me? Now, let's take this further. Familiar tools and quick wins. And this is a true example. One of my customers. So that's the demo I had. And again, while this is SharePoint, it could be any tool that you have in your enterprise. But the beauty with this platform, especially if you're a Microsoft-based organization, is not only is it browser-based, it's a website, whatever, but it interacts with existing tools people already have. So in the SharePoint site, where I'm using to manage our project, where we can all collaborate, one of the things that they have out of the box is a built-in what's called a project notebook. And it's powered by this technology called OneNote. Y'all familiar with OneNote? OneNote is phenomenal. You know Evernote? Okay, this is like 100,000 times better. So with OneNote, it comes with Office, and the beauty of this is while it open up on the browser, and I can also work with it in my tool that I love, my local OneNote client. Y'all with me? And when we talk about enterprise social, it's the idea of collaboration on your terms. You work how you like to work, when you like to work, where you like to work. And all this stuff, we just pull it together for you. Now, here's a scenario there. So I'm working on this project, and I'm already delivering the presentation, and I got to show my boss that I'm not playing hokey, and I'm actually delivering this session. Y'all with me? And the only way for me to prove that is to take a picture of you. All right. So I got my phone, and I went to that project site, and it can be any phone. It doesn't have to be a Windows. It can be iPhone, Android, what have you, or a tablet. So let's see, Lawrence, can you help me here? Sure. Okay, come on, Lawrence. So I pulled up that same OneNote notebook. I just opened up my browser, OneNote notebook. I'm going to have Lawrence take a picture. And what I'm going to have you do here, I want you to take a picture of me with everybody else, just to make sure my boss, no, use my phone.
Oh, your phone. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm logged into that.
No, that's fine.
Just click on the middle, hold on. And I'm going to tag everyone once we're done at Facebook.
Sure.
Just the middle, just anywhere on the screen.
Got it.
Got it? All right, let's give him a big round of applause. Good job.
So who knows how to use those?
So again, here's what I did, right? So again, just to kind of step you through what I did, I went to that project site, opened up that same OneNote notebook, took a picture, end of story. Now, what's going to happen? In 2-3 seconds, that internet connection, it will sync, that it'll show up here on my OneNote client that my boss might have on his desktop open. It will show up on the website. It will even send alerts to people who subscribe to alerts. If ducks upload something, make it happen. Y'all with me? Now, what's the value here? How many times have you been off-site, taking pictures of your meetings or videos and then emailing it, moving to thumb drives? In the spirit of having a one-stop shop where your enterprise social platform, in this case SharePoint, is a central repository for everything about the project, your schedule, your documents, your task, including all these artifacts. Well, show me, docs. All right, let me jump to my couple of things. Yes, I'm using a Mac. Get over it. I love my Mac. So I'm going to go to that same project site. So I'll show you different things. I'm going to go to that same project site, and so let me check the notebook. And if it still doesn't show up, I'm going to blame the internet. Oh, not yet? Oh, yeah, there you go. Now let me check if I have signal here. It'll show up. I promise. Yeah, it's still.
Android, it would work.
There you go. Now, so it's still the internet connection, but I'll give it a second. But you'll see it show up, and I'll get back to this, not only here, but also in my OneNote client. Okay? Now, I promise it'll show up. I'll bring it back in a second. Now, what do you guys think of that scenario? Is that something relevant and useful? Well, that's new though. I mean, you're talking about 2013 stuff. We haven't upgraded our technology platform to support that. What I just did, you could do it in 2010. If you had the 2010 suite of Microsoft, or this year, 2010. It's not even new. And also, once you identify your business solutions, you have to prioritize. You can't serve every master, you can't serve every business need, and there's different ways to prioritize, but at the end, really what you want to do is find what's the most pressing business need, and you want to address that first. And part of what I'll send you a whole paper on how you prioritize business needs and map it to an enterprise social solution. What do you guys think so far? All this stuff useful? Step 3. Once you've got the executive buy-in, you've got your business stakeholders involved, put together a sustainable adoption plan. All right? I got to fess up. My name's not really Dux. It's Dux L. My father's Cal L. My grandfather's Jor-El. It's all my movie thing. Russell Crowe was my dad. I thought I could do it all, right? I thought I could put this enterprise social thing, and it's no big deal. It's a technology installation. But we're wrong. IT alone cannot own this nor handle this by themselves. When you want to invest and get enterprise social adoption, IT and business has to work together from a business engagement standpoint, long-term adoption, and long-term support and maintenance. So who are the key business groups that we got to engage up front? Corporate communications and human resources are very, very important groups to work with IT. Because not only can they communicate and push out the value of platforms like this, corporate communications can, but HR, for example, can help drive the metrics and sustainability through time. Now, leverage existing resources. If you want to drive enterprise social adoption, you have a lot of tools already out there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Your existing training programs you can take advantage of. Governance plan. Industry practices. So a couple of things I want to share with you. For example, again, if you're using SharePoint, there is a... see the picture showed up? That wasn't the trick. See, it's even on OneNote. I didn't even have to email to 10 people. I served it up to my social platform, and it went to the relevant people with the right tools at the right time. Okay? Now, what I want to show you, talking about resources, Microsoft has released, I think 2 months ago, this resource called Discover SharePoint. It's an adoption resource where it provides use cases. If you're in HR, this is how you can take advantage of Microsoft Enterprise Social Tools. If you're in R&D, if you're in sales, okay, there's a lot of great resources out there. Identify champions. When you work in your organizations, and once you get the business excited for the groups that you piloted with and it's successful, use them, take advantage of them to help you promote the value of social. And if you want to pretty much summarize what the essential components are of your enterprise social sustainable adoption plan, it really falls down to the 3 buckets. When we think of sustainability in adoption, obviously there's training, which it has to be contextual, meaning if you're a project manager, this is what enterprise social means to you, and you can take this 30 minutes or 1 hour training around your world. If you're in finance, this is what you can do. Make it bite-sized, digestible, and relevant. Don't focus on Module 1, how to create a site. Module 2, how to create a library. Useless. Instead, you flip it and say, how do you improve meeting management? How do you better project collaboration? Provide a support mechanism that's not just reliant on IT. Provide a mechanism where people can help themselves, they can help each other with their colleagues, and then for the higher level needs, that's where IT comes in. Because the problem here is once you get people engaged, excited, and adopted, IT can't handle all the requests that's going to come in. And then lastly, grow your adoption. Provide ongoing engagement. Step 4. So we talked about step 1, secure buy-in from the executive. Step 2, involve business stakeholders. Step 3, put together a plan. And then step 4, execute. Implement your sustainable adoption program. The question is, what does winning look like? Hopefully not this guy. Winning is different for different companies. And the point is, once you implement your program, the key for people to grasp the value and learn all this is your user training, initial user training is very important. It has to be contextual. Make sure you keep it interactive. All these demos are valuable. Showing tools that they already use can incent them and motivate them. And training is not just training. You don't just let them walk out and be done. What's the call to action? So after you learn all this, you are expected to do this. So let me share an example with you. We're working with a very large global organization, 100,000 people. We're rolling out a sustainable adoption program for the enterprise social investments. When we started talking, they said, "Gosh, we've got all these technologies for 8 years. It's just a big file dump. We want to maximize our investment." So we did a pilot to 80 key business groups, and the model that we did, as we implemented this program for this 80 people, the first thing we did is we did a survey. It's a very simple survey. We asked, what's your pet peeve with your technology? What's your biggest pain point? Everything's so manual. I got to enter information 10,000 times. So a lot of things that you would typically hear from an organization. And then, number 2, we did a virtual roundtable. Just online, very quick, 30 minutes with focus groups. I just asked a very simple question. Well, you've got all the tools you need to do your job better. How come you don't use it? Training is bad. We don't even know that it's there. So again, we have inventoried this stuff. So based on those good information, we put together a program, built the training. So the training, at least the face-to-face was just 1 day. So I went to their corporate headquarters, 80 people was there, and they're like, wow, another training about technology, whatever. But again, we flipped the view. Every conversation was about their business process. Project management, meetings, building reports for executives. And then we say, hey, you got these tools? And then their eyes open up. Now, we're not done. Towards the end of that session, we said, here's what we're going to do, gang. This is not a one-day thing. This is a 4-week initiative. What we're going to do is you're going to team up with your colleagues. Based on what you've learned, you will put together a solution. It doesn't have to be complex that will better a specific process you have. Improving meeting management, building reports, what have you. And all the resources you need will be in this portal we put together. So we put like a knowledge sharing portal with all the videos and artifacts that they already have. Y'all with me? And a little discussion board that they can ask questions. And then in the next 4 weeks, every Wednesday at a certain time, I'll be available online for office hours if you have questions. So they can sign in, I'll show them stuff. But during the week, they can still converse in that discussion board. Now, the last piece. Somebody is like, why would I want to do this, docs? I mean, I know it's going to help me with my work, but what's the incentive here? I go, great that you asked. Because in this initiative, we're going to call it Sharepoint Idle. After 4 weeks, we're going to do a web meeting. We're going to record your solutions. We're going to post it back out to this portal, and we're going to make your colleagues vote. Whoever wins, whoever has the best solution, that team will get 1 day off. A free vacation. Everybody with me? You talk about motivation. You talk about, but all that actually worked. Because the beauty of that is, while initially their incentive was around getting that day off, but they came up with these great solutions. Not only they benefited from it, but since it surfaced up to the rest of the organization, they're like, oh, wow, we have that problem too. How did you do that? Y'all with me? That's the kind of engagement you want, and that's the kind of engagement that brings value. Lastly, you need to facilitate all this. None of this was accidental. Again, the traditional IT mindset is we roll out a technology platform, we send people to training, and if they need help, they'll call IT. No. You talk about enterprise social, think about the social model. You go to Facebook, you don't go to fill in a ticket request to ask questions about Facebook. What do? You ask people, and I'm sure in your Facebook feed you've seen, hey, Facebook rolled out this feature. If you want to make it more private, go here, go there. Y'all with me? It's not Facebook doing that. Some of your family or friends that just wants to share. Same concept. When you want to facilitate this engagement, you have to provide a way where they can help themselves. On-demand videos or communities of practice, right? Gather feedback. And you can gather feedback directly and indirectly. You can watch what people are doing, for example, through your analytics, right? Where people get stuck, what's the most accessed page. In fact, if you want to get direct feedback, again, Yammer is a brilliant platform to gather feedback. Lastly, apart from these tools, put a structure to facilitate engagement around regular activities. Show and tell, right? Virtual meetings. And we're putting this together for this 100,000 people organization I work with. On a regular basis, they can attend like an online lunch and learn, and people are going to show off what they've done and how it improved their business initiatives. Put together user groups. It could be virtual. And have regular communications. That's where corporate communications come in. Look at what this group did. Did you know you can do that? Everybody with me? And this is an iterative process. It's a journey. Because throughout all this stuff, this is a big change management exercise. And you can't just dump everything one time and expect miracles to happen. Baby steps, constantly prove value, and then as the organization mature, right, then you look for the next thing you can work on. 5 steps. Secure buy-in, involve stakeholders, develop your plan, implement it, and make sure to sustain it, you facilitate the growth and the engagement. What do you guys think? Helpful? Before we wrap up, I want to share a story. I asked earlier, what does winning look like? Right? So here's a picture, a cutout picture of the Philippine Dragon Boat rowing team in the World Championship Finals in 1994-95. If you know the Dragon Boat rowing sport, it's like it's a canoe. It's big in Asia and Pacific. Anyway, this is the Philippine team, and I'm actually the guy in the back cheering. I thought we won first, but after the Reuters or AP guy took that photo, I realized we won second. We lost to China by half of a second. Now, why am I showing this picture, right? What does it take to win? So, did you think we decided one day, hey, next week is the World Championship Finals, let's book our ticket and go? Do you think we did that? No. How long did it take us to train? 6 months. And prior to that 6 months, we were already athletes. Doesn't it show? We're already athletes. We're doing this stuff. But we're preparing for the World Finals. And we trained for 6 months. Monday to Friday, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Manila Bay because we had day jobs. We're not like Kobe Bryant who does this full time. In our first month of training, I was very mad with our coach because we didn't even jump on the boat. All we did was run around, calisthenics, cardio, gym, push-ups. I complained to my boss. I said, boss, or coach, we have a nice boat, it's fiberglass and all that. How come we're not hitting the water and start rowing? He said, Docs, baby steps. It's not about the boat. It's about the destination. What outcomes do we want? And if you want to win, we got to build you up. Baby steps. Just like what we're talking about here, to drive sustainable adoption, we can't just throw people in the enterprise social boat and expect to reach our destination. Baby steps. Because while enterprise social is great, it's not about enterprise social. Enterprise social doesn't matter. Business matters. So with that, some resources. Thank you for being here. Any questions I can address? Is this useful? Yeah. Good. All right. So again, thank you for being here. If you put in your card, I'll send all this stuff in my book to you. But other than that, thanks and enjoy the rest of the conference.